Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Live to Be Well. I'm Dr. Kim Logan with my co-host
Hi, everybody.
ML6 and my baby Micah. Listen, let a friend know that we are on the air. We're on YouTube Live, and we are here to bring you hope and healing through this pandemic. We're still in the pandemic, Micah, and so today we want to talk about beyond resilience. How do we live still within this pandemic, and what is the new norm? What is our new norm? So I want to talk about it from emotional, psychological, just common sense, Micah. Things we still need to be doing, like wearing a mask, washing our hands, being careful who we come in contact with because we are still in a pandemic. So, let's go to ML6 and let's talk about this new norm that we're living in and how do we become resilient in it, Micah?
Well, I think first we need to tackle the idea that everyone may not be ready to go back into this pandemic. I mean, go back into the real world, and we need to kind of take that into consideration. That for one, let's go back. We were literally thrown into the pandemic with little to no information other than make sure you get to the store and get you a whole bunch of toilet paper because it's going scarce. Which I still don't understand why toilet paper was a thing, but whatever the case is, we made it through that. But we
Mm-hmm.
weren't giving much. We weren't given much information at the end of February, early March, and then we didn't know if it was going to last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, okay, a month. And here we are 15 months later,
Mm-hmm.
and we are still under the pandemic guidelines. And in those 15 months, there are a lot of traumatic things that happened for a lot of people, that whether it was, directly or indirectly. It was a lot watching the news every day. It was a lot not knowing who was affected, who wasn't, which age group, which wasn't. It was a lot for people who lost loved ones, who couldn't go to the hospitals to say goodbye, who had to say goodbye to their loved ones via FaceTime, couples who had been together for 50 years. And in final moments, they could only say goodbye over the phone. Very traumatic experiences. And then all of a sudden, you hear the world's back open
Mm-hmm.
and not taking into considerations, businesses are like, come back to work, da 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 da. And there's literally people out there who have developed trauma and fear of literally being outside, and you want them to just snap back out of it like everything is okay. And there needs to be a level of sensitivity that not everyone is wrapping their head around immediately jumping back into the real world. I mean, I'll be honest with you, jumping back in, getting on the road and traffic, that's a lot when you haven't had to really deal with that in 15 months. And then it's like, whoa, where are all these people? There is a certain thing, there's a certain, like, I was out today and it was just like, okay, you're seeing people without their masks, but like masks have become a part of, you grab your keys, you grab your phone, you grab your purse, your wallet, and you grab your mask. And like all of a sudden that just goes away. Let's be clear. The reason that we even got into this pandemic is because people are gross. People are gross. And I've noticed even back in the grocery stores, the cleaning supplies are very full. And I'm like, so what? People stop cleaning? People not washing their hands no more? Just because what? People are vaccinated? I mean, that's all well and good, but there has been no sense of, we didn't gradually go into the pandemic and we're not gradually coming out of it. It's almost as if like, July 4th, President Biden wants 70% of the American people to be completely vaccinated for them to, I guess, take the pandemic off. But here's the thing with that, it's more than just the title of the pandemic. Our job today is to bring just knowledge to the fact of the emotional trauma of even going back to your everyday life can bring. Doing life as we once knew it is never going to be. I'm never going to blow out a candle on a cake because that's disgusting. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not. Like, I don't even know why we did it in the first place, but it's disgusting. There's just certain things like you're looking twice when you think about going to concerts with, 8,000 people. There was a time where we didn't think about anything, but now you're just like, I have to take precautions myself. Now, granted, I've always walked around with antibacterial
Yes.
sanitizer in my purse. Every
Mhm.
purse had it.
Mhm.
Wipes. I keep those things
Yeah.
around. I
Yeah.
have a thing prior to the pandemic about
That's
washing my hands. I wash my
mhm.
hands a lot, period.
Mhm.
And to be
Mhm.
honest with you, even using I'm even using hand sanitizer sometimes was never enough. I needed to literally wash my hands. So
Mhm.
there's just certain things that I think that we need to tackle today. It's great that we are going back to a new normal. It's great that certain things are coming back alive. I'm so happy that, people in restaurants are back working, because I know that that is a serious lifeline for those people. So it's just, but even in that, being considerate of understanding that not everybody is particularly ready to go
Mhm.
back into this so-called new normal. And
Mhm.
we have to figure out the best way to be sensitive to other people who may not be ready.
That's right.
And I just feel that it's a conversation that has not been had. It was, we're in a pandemic. We're still kind of in a pandemic, but we want everything to go back to normal. You don't got to wear your mask indoors. You don't got to wear your mask outdoors. I mean, you can't. It's just a lot of up and down. And then take into consideration, we have new variants of this virus. They have a new Delta variant of this virus that is in the United States, and they don't know who it really is going to affect and who it's not going to affect. So
Mhm.
there's still variants of this virus that are out, and they're not sure, even if you have the vaccine, if it's going to be strong enough. So, and that brings more trauma to a certain degree to a certain age group once they figure that out. So, just a lot of things, and you just want people to just jump out
Mhm.
with no conversation, no sensitivity. You just want employees to come back to work
Mhm.
with no type of training on how to be. You can't work like you used to.
You
You have to
can't.
work from a new idea. And I
Mhm.
do believe that companies, before even engaging and making people come back to work, a conversation needs to be had. So if you are an owner of a company and you
Mhm.
hear this, do yourself and your employees a favor and have a conversation with them and ask
Yeah.
them really how they are doing, how they are coping, how they feel about being back in the work environment. If
Mhm.
you care about your employees,
Mhm.
have that conversation with them.
Mhm.
Open discussion, closed discussion, whatever works best, but have the conversation.
Oh, I agree. That's powerful. That's powerful. Hello, Thomas Maycock Jr. Thank you for joining us on Live to Be Well. Hey, Rachel Harris. Good evening. God bless you and everyone that's tuning in. Hey, Miss Vanessa. God bless you. You know, Micah, you have brought out so many amazing points. And as a business owner, I am asking those questions to those who work for me or those who come into my office. And even me, am I comfortable? They put a memo out in my building. If you have been vaccinated, you are welcome to take your mask off. I'm not taking my mask off because I'm not going to be lax, and you have to be careful, ladies and gentlemen. You must be careful. Let's talk about some points here about being resilient. All right. Number one, get your shot. You have to get vaccinated. All right. I want to give you some statistics here that only 45.7 have been vaccinated in the United States. 45%. California, 48.4. Michigan, 46.1. So that means only 50% out of 100 have not been vaccinated. And it is a deadly disease. This is not the flu. We're not just talking about a common cold. When I first heard about this pandemic, I was at Belle Isle, Micah, and I saw all these huge photos go up, displays go up. And I went over and asked the woman, I said, what is going on? She said, these are 900 or 1,500 people that have died of COVID. Micah, I saw people that I just saw in church 2, 3, back in March. They're dead in June, July, or people that I would see, or teachers and people that I saw here and there on Facebook, they're deceased pastors. So, we have to recognize that we must keep our distance. We must stay aware. Mike, are we shaking hands? Are we doing bumps? And what is the new norm now? And we've got to be careful who we are kissing. Detroit is only 30% or so last check. So that's a long way from our state total of 60.8. Thank you, Miss Vanessa. Wearing your mask. So, what does that look like for us? And you got to be careful. Who are you kissing? We opened our church Saturday. But before we could go in, Micah, you had to pre-register. You must have a mask. They took your temperature. They asked you were you experiencing any types of symptoms. They sectioned off every 3 rows, 2 or 3 rows. I sat in a section all by myself, and it was under 100 people in my church. So this is what it's going to look like now. You're going to have to register to come to our church. And I even invited someone to come to church, and their name had to be on the list. So you must get your shot. You must continue to wear your mask, even when they say you could take it off. Wear your mask. Use caution. Stay abreast, updated on the news. Read on the publication about what's going on. Be very careful where you travel. Florida is a hot spot now. You've got to be careful. Socialization, do what is right and safe for you. If you don't, think about yourself, think about your family, and bringing this disease or this virus back in. I remember, Micah, when Aaron went out and you said, oh, no, 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 you've got to get it tested before you come back. Do you remember, Micah, when I came out to California, what did you say to me? Mama, you must get tested first because you are in a hot spot in Michigan. So if you're not sure if that person is vaccinated, we are living in a new norm, everyone. You're going to have to ask. You have to ask. I had a dinner party here in my home for my pastor and a few other people, and I had to ask them, are you vaccinated? And I'm vaccinated, and I want to thank my daughter and others who said, Kim, you need to go on and do this. And so you must look at being safe. This is nothing to play with. This is a deadly virus, and we must use all caution as possible. So the new norm, Micah, we can't be embarrassed to ask somebody if you've been vaccinated. You can't be embarrassed to ask the necessary questions, and I'm not ready to hug and kiss people, and I'm using social distance. All right. Come on, Micah.
But even in that, I do want to make clear that um, it is a choice to get vaccinated or to not get vaccinated. It is your personal choice. All I'm saying for people who are choosing to not get vaccinated, do your part in making sure that your immune system stays up and up. Take your vitamins regularly. And even if you do have the vaccine, please still make sure that you're taking care of your immune system. Don't get laxed because you have the vaccine. The problem, the main cause of people that this thing attack, this virus attack, people who had low immune systems. That was something that they stressed. If your immune system was low, if you were at risk of any of those type of things, it was a problem for you. So I say this to say to not make anyone to be offended, to not force the vaccine on people. We're not vaccine bullying. That's not what's going on here. It is a choice. It is a choice. And you have to understand that if you choose not to get the vaccine, and there's certain things that you may or may not, as so I'm seeing they're, making certain things for people you can only do if you're vaccinated, this, that, and the third. Again, your choice. It is your choice. I just want people to be healthy. I want people to be healthy. Take your vitamins, continue to drink plenty of water. Please get your vitamin D. Exercising regularly. This is something that I just recently talked to you about. I heard something I didn't like, with your breathing. And I said to you, so when we get on that treadmill, I have made it a point just for myself that I walk my dog twice a day. But outside of that, I do a mile to 2 miles just on my own, just so that I'm making sure that my blood flow is good, that I'm getting some type of physical activity. Because let's be clear, in the pandemic, for a lot of people got lazy. A lot of people, you stayed home, you didn't go out, you didn't take care of yourself, and now the world's back open, and you like summertime fine. What? They gonna get whatever they gonna get, and that's perfectly fine too.
Mhm.
But for your health, for your everyday health, not for social media pictures, nothing like that, just for your personal health. Getting back out there, if you don't feel comfortable going to the gym, don't go to the gym. Seriously, walking daily, a mile to 2 miles, maybe even three, if you really about that life, literally goes a long way when you do that every single day. Again, everything that you do is a choice. From getting the vaccine to not getting the vaccine, to exercising daily, to eating right, to not eating right, everything that you do is a choice. And sometimes with choices comes repercussions.
Mhm.
And you have to be okay to deal with, okay, maybe I may not be able to go to this event because I'm not vaccinated. Maybe I can go to this event as long as I'm making sure that I have my mask on. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Like, there are ways that you can do it. I'm
Mhm.
probably have my mask on for the rest of my life. Whether I choose to get vaccinated or not, I'm gonna have my mask for the rest of my life because, like I said at the beginning of this, people are nasty, people are gross, and I want to make sure that I'm keeping myself protected from
Mhm.
germs.
Mhm.
Period. So I just wanted to kind of say that real quick because I didn't want anyone to feel that we were forcing people to get vaccinated. Yes, isn't if you feel that it's important for you to do, if you've done your own research and you feel like it is the best thing for you and your family, be it Moderna, Pfizer, or Johnson and Johnson, your choice, your body, your life. But whatever you do, don't stop taking your vitamins. Don't stop drinking your water. Don't stop exercising and making sure that you're healthy, mind, body, and soul.
Right. Don't get comfortable, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't get comfortable.
Don't get comfortable that you think everything is all right. Be mindful if you're going to be if you're going to be traveling, how you're going to be traveling.
Yeah.
Are you going to be? Make sure you wipe down the seats real well. They give you one little wipe. Take some wipes with you on the airplane. Someone told me once if you're flying first class, last one on and first one off.
Yeah.
If you're not privileged to fly first class, then be mindful as you get on that plane. Keep your mask on, keep your gloves on. I remember when I went to get my luggage, Micah, I put my gloves on, and I was the only one who had on gloves picking up my luggage. Do you know how many germs are transmitted through that luggage and transferred?
A
Okay,
lot.
a lot of germs.
Hmm.
And so you have to be mindful that when you go into places, restrooms, be mindful when you go in the restrooms and you're touching the doorknobs and public places. Be mindful and don't get comfortable still. When you come home, take your shoes off. Don't walk through your home with your shoes on. You're tracking all those impurities into your home. Take your clothes off. Still take your clothes off and wash your clothes and take a shower. Don't just get comfortable and just go right to bed. Don't do that because you've been having people touch you. You've been around people. You have to be careful. All right. Thank you,
I've
Mr.
never
Cook.
understood that. I've never understood that. Again, there are things that I have practiced in my life my entire life. My mother will tell
Mama.
you,
Oh, mama.
I have always been, I will take 2 to 3 showers a day, especially in the summertime. I am very, very particular about washing my clothes. I don't like things to be, like for my clothes to stack up. I have even trained my dog. I have shoes for my dog. He does not go outside without his shoes on, and he knows to stop at the door for me to take them off before he goes forward. So if I can train my dog to do that, surely you as humans can do the same thing. He just knows it's routine. Why? Because he sees me stop at the door. I take my shoes off. He stops too, and he waits for me to take his little booties off. Because
Mhm.
my thing is outside. We out in LA. It's nasty. It's dirty. He has to go for his walks. He puts shoes on, and you're not about to be on my furniture nasty and dirty. When he comes in the house, I wipe his face, I wipe his body down, all of that. And some of you may be looking at me like, yo, Micah does a lot for her dog. I do, because that's who I am as a person. And my
Mhm.
dog is clean.
Mhm.
And I know that I'm clean. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
I'm not about to sit here and I still have, I have Lysol in every room. I Lysol handles. After my sister, when she, if she has friends over, she doesn't have a lot of people over here. I always Lysol. I spray down everything. I wipe down everything. But to be clear, I was like this before.
Right,
Okay.
right.
I was like this before. So give or take a few little things that I'm probably a little bit more cautious of. My
Mhm.
counters always clean. I don't keep dirty dishes in the house. I always wipe
That's
the
right.
handles down on my
That's
refrigerator.
right.
Anything that has constant touching,
Yes,
I wipe down.
that's right. You know,
It's taking care of your home. It's taking care of yourself. It's all
that's
about
right.
self pride at this point.
Right, that's
But
right.
again, I do understand that for a lot of people, they may not have been raised in such a way. They don't know. There is a level of ignorance out there, like about cleanliness. And the pandemic, I do believe, has taught a lot of people to think differently and how they act. For a
Mhm,
lot of people, it didn't make too much of a difference. They don't care.
mhm,
They nasty. They was
mhm.
nasty going in. They nasty coming out.
Mercy,
You
mercy.
just got to be careful. It is your
Mhm.
prerogative to say who you want in your home, who you don't want in your home. It's your prerogative to say where you will go, where you won't go.
You don't
It's
go.
your prerogative to do whatever you choose to do. However, whatever it is that you do, you got to make sure that you are walking in decency and in order.
That's right.
Take care of you. Take care of your home. It is
Mhm.
okay to sit your children down and be like, hey, before you bring these backpack in from school, I got to spray them down.
That's right. That's right. Bottom line, you
Bottom
know,
line.
Michael, you know how I am. You know how I keep
Mm-hmm.
my home. The way before pandemic, if people used to say, talk about me because I'm OCD. You know how I raised you and Aaron and how daddy had a fit. Couldn't put trash in the trash cans. I took it out constantly. I
Yeah.
had little plastic bags, Lysol. We did Clorox sheets, constantly keeping every room clean, changing the sheets, changing the towels. And I always kept bleach and Clorox wipes and Comet, Lysol. So I'm like you, Micah. What were these individuals doing beforehand?
Beforehand. Yeah.
And even I was boiling water. I would boil water and make sure that even my silverware was clean after I washed it. I put my
Mm-hmm.
silverware in boiling water to definitely sanitize it and put a little lemon juice in it. So, vacuuming, washing my hands, constantly cleaning, keeping wipes in the car. I wipe down my steering wheel every 3 or 4 times a day. I'm wiping down, I'm keeping things clean constantly because these things, even my microphone, wipe it down. I'm constantly using certain things. My telephone, I'm wiping it down, I'm keeping it clean. I wipe my glasses, I clean them before I take them off, clean them. I put them back on, clean them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very, very careful, about everything I do. When I take off my watch, Mike, I take it off, I clean it.
Mm-hmm.
I clean it. You may say again, you are OCD, you over extreme. No, I am being cautious and careful
Yeah.
because germs are transmitted, they transferred. So again, my daughter and I, she was raised with me in old school. She was raised by me. I'm her mother. And so, therefore, even as a little girl, putting things away, cleaning, how to wipe down a table. I had a client today, Micah, and the son is 14 and he doesn't know how to wipe down a table. Then you,
Mm-hmm.
as a parent, need to show them this is more than just keeping your house clean. We've got to be really aware of how we're training our children to be clean and to be organized and to make sure they're safe so
Yeah.
that they don't bring anything back home. People have gone out, these children have gone out living with their grandparents, aunts and uncles and elderly, and they have brought the virus back in. They survived it, but the grandparents have
But the
died.
grandparents don't. Yeah.
You see, the grandparents don't make it.
Yeah.
The aunts, the uncle, the parents have died because the children and the young people have been careless. We can't afford to be careless. If you're just joining us on Live to Be Well, we're talking about resilience. This is so powerful, very informative. Let's get the vaccine, eat clean, exercise, and wipe down. Thank you so much, Dr. Kim and daughter, and that's Marion McGee. God bless you. Because again, people are not talking about it anymore. ML6 is like it's gone away. No, this is still here. And last time I asked my daughter, what do you want to talk about? because she's always in tune and current events. I'm the mental health expert, relationships, and she sent me back this topic. We shot it back to Al Rogers, and we need to keep this in front of you, because and Micah, it's gotten quiet. It's gotten quiet, and things again, like I said, is opening up. I have patients and clients who are under so much stress on their jobs because their employers didn't even have a meeting with them, just report back to work, you know, and people are walking around them with no mask on. They're not cleaning, they're not doing anything. And this stress, Dr. Logan, you got to take me off work. I can't do this. I can't work like this. And I feel like, and they've having 3 or 4 panic attacks a day, Micah, you
Yeah.
know. So you are right. You need to have a conversation with your employees. If not, bring it to your employer's attention
Hmm.
that these things need to happen because you're putting my life at risk. And I have a family, and Micah, listen, you said something to me that was just, it riveted me, went through my heart. You said to me, Mama, I have only one parent living. You
Hmm.
have to take care of yourself.
Hmm.
And that has stayed with me. And I exercise, Micah.
Hmm.
I'm drinking my water. And look, Mike, I graduated to the big bottles.
Look at you.
I'm
God
in
is
the big
good.
bottles now.
God is
Yes.
good.
I'm
God
on
is good.
my the big bottles. I've graduated, and eating healthy. I had salad, eating more of my fruit and some pineapple and grapes and had some, I made some, vegan ice cream out of strawberries. It was delicious, So I'm trying to better myself. And I'm small, my daughter is small, but we could be unhealthy. We're trying to be healthy. I'm not
Mhm.
walking to be even smaller or be this way or that way. It's not for vanity. I want to be healthy, I want to be healthy for my God, for my children, and I want to live to do even a greater work with Live to Be Well. Micah?
I just, as you were talking, I was just thinking about how in life we go through processes, and
Hmm.
some longer or shorter than others. For some, getting up every day is a win, and I want to celebrate that win. Every day is something that, Mom, I'm so sorry. Your grandson got his toy. Give me this. Thank
That's
you.
Sebastian.
So I apologize. Every day is a process, and everything you do is a process. And you have to be patient with yourself, and you also have to be patient with others. And I think that I've learned that the most throughout this pandemic. It has been very stressful for a lot of people for a lot of different reasons.
Yes,
And
it is.
that's what I was saying at the when I started talking, that be honest with yourself where you are. If you are not ready to just jump back out there, that's okay. That is okay. Have that conversation with yourself. If you ready, like, yo, I've been waiting for this since last April, set me free, that's great. But your sister or brother around the corner may not be.
That's right.
And you have to take that into consideration. If you call up your girls and say, hey, I'm ready to, let's do this girls trip, let's get out of here, da 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 da. And you got one of them that's just like, no, I'm just not. Don't talk about her in a different group chat. Don't, somebody needs to reach out to her and make sure she's okay, because it could be something deeper why she's not ready to take that set. And let me tell you something right now, the airport is so crowded.
Mm.
It's so crowded to the point that American Airlines is having to literally cancel flights because they don't even have enough flight attendants, enough pilots to handle the amount of people that are traveling right now. So if
Mm.
you're flying American Airlines between now and the end of July, check your flight status because your flight could be canceled. Just an
Mm.
FYI. The
Wow.
airport is a zoo right now.
My.
It is literally overwhelming, and it will cause you, if you are not prepared, it will literally cause you to have an anxiety attack
My.
because you're trying to figure out, where are all these people going
Right.
all of a sudden so
Right.
fast? Did they already
Right.
have these things, these tickets? Did they just get it and buy these tickets? Like,
Mm.
where's the eagerness to go right now is at an
Mm.
all-time high, which
Mm.
is fine. It's perfectly fine. But if you yourself are
Mhm.
not prepared for that,
Mhm.
try to not put yourself in that situation, because it will literally leave you stuck and you may not even get on that plane.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's a real thing that people don't take into consideration. There are levels to anxiety, and the airport alone
High
is
level.
one of them.
That's right. I want. I
I
want. Go ahead,
The
Michael.
last flight that I was on, where
Mhm.
did I go?
Weren't you in Huntsville?
I can't remember. But
Mhm.
I was like, where are these people going?
Right. Right.
And it's like you're literally looking for a place in the airport that doesn't have a person anywhere near it, just so that you can like possibly breathe and get some air. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to make sure that you're just okay. And speaking of children, I'm so glad she said that, children going back to school. That
Shayla.
has been a very, 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 very serious topic of whether or not to send children back to school. Because hear me, I don't have a child. I have godchildren, nieces, all of those type of things. And I know that school, daycare is a germ pool.
Yes, it
I
is.
know that you can send your children to school and they come home with something and they get over in 2 days, and you as a parent, it's going to take you a week to get over it. I
Yeah.
already know that. And I
Right.
know that it's right now, we know that Pfizer has opened up for, children to get the vaccine, I believe from 12 to 16. That was the most recent. It could be younger. I'm not sure. Sorry, don't quote me on that. But a decision. Parents have to make a decision. Am I sending my child back to full-time school in the fall? Am I doing a disservice by saying no? But then you looking at your child and their social skills are kind of weakening. If you have only have school, as a parent, you're like, yo, I need those 8 hours. I
Mhm.
need for my sanity. I
Mhm.
need them 8 hours back, because I know for a lot of people during this pandemic, they looked around and said, Lord, why I have these kids? Like having to be at home
Mhm.
24/7 with them.
Mhm.
Salute to parents. I just want to take a moment to say
Mhm.
salute. If you
To the.
had children that were, preschool, kindergarten through 12th grade, salute to parents. Listen to your children. Sit down and ask them what they want to do.
Mhm.
Because there are a lot of children that are like, listen, I'm ready to go back. Just as much as you're sick of me, mom, I'm sick of you. I'm ready to get back to my life. You
Mhm.
have to understand that. But then there are some children who looked at this pandemic like,
Oh.
yes, because they didn't have to deal with bullying. They didn't have to deal with anybody, taking their lunches, talking about their clothes. They didn't have to worry about,
Hair.
having that stress of answering a question, in front of a classroom, because that brings a sense of anxiety for children that parents sometimes overlook. All of those type of things. My suggestion, even though I am not a parent, never put a child through school, but just my common sense, talk to your child to find out where they are right now. Talk to them and ask them how the
Mhm.
pandemic affected them. Talk to them and find out if they even understood. And if
Mhm.
they don't understand and you don't understand, y'all need to both talk about your lack of not understanding together, so that they know that they're not alone.
Right.
And then maybe sitting down together as parent and child, family, mother, father, whatever your family dynamic is, having the conversation with your child,
Right.
letting them know that they are not alone in their fears, because there's a sense of fear in children too
Oh yes. Most definitely. Most
that
definitely.
gets overlooked. And it's like, because we as adults, we're so worried about our mental health and things of that nature, that we're forgetting that these children got a lot going on for them.
They do. And we've seen our children commit suicide during this pandemic.
Yeah.
They have gotten to a point where they don't know how to cope and live. Let's talk about relationships. When you're thinking about dating,
Mm.
you get cooped up for 15 months and you meet someone on the internet. And Mike and I are going to do a whole broadcast, dating during the pandemic. And you're meeting people who may be catfishing you or they may be sincere, but you've got to be mindful of who you are relating to, talking
Mm-hmm.
to, and opening yourself up to.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone does not have your best interest.
No.
Everyone is not vaccinated. Everyone's motive may not be as pure as yours. And we're going to bring
Right.
this back. I'm glad to hear, Shayla, that Armani wants to go back to school.
Yeah, that's dope.
He's 7 years old. he misses his peers. He wants to be in that environment.
Mhm.
But that's something, like Micah said, we have to talk about because anxiety is real, depression, stress. We're dealing with all types of mental health issues and illnesses that are
Mhm.
coming with severe consequences. The rate today as a mental health specialist is I'm at 80%, 90%. I'm packed to capacity, Micah. I'm working 9 to 11 p.m., 9
Mm.
to 11 p.m., and I'm working 6 days a week. I make a choice. I make a choice to
Mhm.
meet that need for our society. And so, but a lot of the need has been relationships too. I'm getting a lot of children, teens, but couples are coming to me having marital issues, relationship
Mhm.
issues. How do we handle this? How do we do this and that? We're dealing with people with bereavement and death who've lost spouses.
Mhm.
We just went through Father's Day and
Mhm.
dealing with, you losing daddy. Me, I've lost a husband. Dealing with that during the pandemic, and I can't travel. I can't do that cruise. I can't do the things that I used to. This is my new norm.
Mhm.
These walls are my new norm. This is my travel. This is my Hawaii. This is my Aruba. This is my Africa because I want to be safe. And Micah is right. Don't let people intimidate you because they choose to do what they want to do. Then
Mhm.
they go on. But I'm not going. I'm not afraid to say no because it could save my life. So let's just do a recap. We want to look at what's important here. Number one, get your shot, get vaccinated if you choose to. As
Mhm.
Michael said, it's a choice. Wear your mask, don't get comfortable, use
Mm.
caution, use open communication with those in your household and talk to your children about how they feel about going back to school and how are you doing as far as going back to work. Have some serious conversations with your employer. Keep your immune system up. I'm keeping my vitamins. Micah stays on me. Mommy, keep that vitamin D, vitamin C, keep all that going. All right. Micah,
Mhm.
I went to order some Zango for the first time in 20 years. Do
Mm.
you know they're out?
And that man, that's crazy.
And I have one bottle left. And I've never
Never
went
not been
to
able to
Zango.
order it. Yeah.
Right. And I've always had two, three boxes. And I
Mhm.
and I looked up the other day, I had one. So I went online to order. They are on back order, Zango. That's a immune immune liquid vitamin that we've been taking for like 20 years, and it's phenomenal. Sanitize yourself, your home, be clean. Don't get comfortable, be cautious and clean. Be careful how you travel and who you are traveling with. All
Mhm.
right, and who you are hooking up with when you travel, or who you are trying to date and get with. Be careful. All right. And don't be afraid to ask the serious question. Have you been vaccinated? What is your thoughts on being vaccinated? Also, make sure that you are communicating to yourself what your needs are. You don't have to be afraid to make sure that you are healthy, you are fit, you are sound, drinking your water. And like Micah said, we're going to celebrate the little wins. This is a big
Mhm.
win for me because I used to drink the little bottles. Amen, Micah? Yeah.
As I call them, baby bottles.
The baby bottle. And then Micah said to me yesterday, Mommy, I'm walking, but I need you to get on that treadmill, the morning and evening. And it's amazing. And Micah, look at my breathing today.
Yeah.
Look at my breathing. It's a lot different than it was yesterday. And again, getting that oxygen going in my body. So what we wanted to do tonight was just remind you of how we are living in a new norm as you go back to work. They're opening up. Michigan is open now. It's 100% open.
Mhm.
And as you go into church, as you are dating, as you are, communicating with people, as you are entertaining with people. Again, I had people here in my home, but I asked everyone beforehand, have you been vaccinated? And I felt safe and I felt comfortable. But Michael, I'm used to giving big, big, big dinners,
Right.
40, 50, 60 people, but I had just 13 people. I kept it small because that was comfortable for me, and I wanted my guests to be comfortable also. And I even asked my guests, would you be comfortable with so and so and so? And they say, yes, they've been vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be afraid to ask that tough question. Don't be embarrassed because it could save your life.
I think all of I believe all of those things are extremely important moving forward into this new normal, as we move month to month through the summer. I want people to enjoy. I do understand that there was a lack of enjoyment, for a lot of people. A lot of people didn't know how to make it work. And so being back outside is something that is refreshing to a lot of people, and that's great. I just want each and every one of you to be safe, in your comings and goings, and to just remember the things that we learned throughout this pandemic about how we live and how we've lived. And if you don't feel comfortable going back to, your regular church service, and you feel like, what, being online is best for me, I'm not really comfortable being back in with a lot of people right now, that is okay. As long as you are getting your spiritual food some way and somehow, make sure that you're getting spiritually fed, be it in person, be it online. Just make sure that you are getting spiritually fed. Your spiritual food is just as important as your
Mhm.
natural food.
Yeah.
I just want to let that be known, because a lot of people may feel like, well, I'm being judged because I don't want to go back into the church house. Listen, honey, them four walls are not going to make or break whether or not you get into the kingdom. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Let's just make sure that you are taking care of your heart posture. Let's make sure you're taking care of your heart posture.
Oh,
That is important in everything that you do.
thank
That's
you.
it.
Thank you. Thank you, Rachel. And thank you, Miss Natural Bowl. This was not planned, our yellow, but great minds
Oh
think alike.
no.
Okay. We just love you all for being with us. Those that will come on the replay, knowing that ML6, I raised my daughter to be clean, to how to take care of a household, doing chores. Chores do not kill your children, all right? Having structure and discipline. Let me tell you, you remember, Micah, when Aaron was born? Do you remember you were coming into the house
Hmm.
boarding school,
Hmm.
and the toilet seat was up, the bed
Hmm.
wasn't made, and
Hmm.
Daddy was coming in the house because he had been in the hospital with me giving birth to Aaron. The
Hmm.
first thing you said, "Where is mommy?" When you got to the hospital and you said, "Take me to my mother right now." I said, "How did you know?" The toilet seat was up,
Yeah.
the bed was not made, and that's not my mother. All right. You can walk into my mother's house at any time, and every room, every bed, every sink, every dish, nothing is going to be out of order at any time. And Micah knew that was a cue because she knew her mother the way I always raised her to keep our home clean and beautiful. She was never ashamed to bring anyone home. She knew her home would always be in order. Somebody could come knock at the door and it would not be a problem. And same way for Daddy. He could bring his girlfriends home and even Aaron and whomever stopped by, and to this day. So we want you to know, train up a child in the way it should go when it's old, shall not depart. Lacey Logan trained me, Venmore Logan. My grandma Ollie and grandma Pauline trained my parents. So you could go to grandma Pauline's house and it was common. It was Ajax. You don't know nothing about no Ajax, Micah. Okay. There was,
Letting it marinate in the tub in the
come
sink and
on
walking
now,
away
come
from it,
on now.
thinking that it's gonna do anything different, letting it marinate.
Let it sit there, all that green Ajax, okay, all that wonderful. And then we always use bleach. We
Yeah.
always use bleach in our dishwater and
Yeah.
everything we did. I know my mama put bleach in our bathtub. I know she put in our bath water. I said, "What is that?" She said, "You need some bleach." So I was raised by women and men who kept our home and outward appearance.
Yeah.
My father always talked about curb appeal. And Micah, how I do my curb appeal.
And let me just say this, since we're talking about outward appearance. And I
Okay,
mean
come
this
on.
with I mean this with everything that's in me.
Yes.
Ladies,
Okay, come on now.
I understand that it's your prerogative to do what you want to do.
Okay.
But me being a young woman, I'm saying going out the house with a bonnet and house
Oh,
shoes on
come on
is
now.
never okay.
It's
I
never
was
okay.
always raised that how you went out the house is a representation of you no matter what, because you never know who you could run into that could change your life forever. I come from a household where we used to plan, where I still do it, not use, where we planned our outfits
Come on.
before we got on the plane. Even if it's a sweatsuit. Oh, we gonna match though.
We're gonna match.
I do not understand. I don't. When women go out the house and you're not presentable. I understand sometimes things happen. But when you are just literally saying, I'm just gonna go to the grocery store in this bonnet, I'm not gonna shower, brush my teeth, I'm gonna go. What? You're around food. That's nasty. And you're not doing yourself a service. You are a representation of yourself in all things. You can get on the gram and be all cute and do all of this, and then you think that it's okay to go out in a house in house shoes and a bonnet?
Mm.
That's not okay. I'll be
No,
honest with you. My hair underneath here, my hair isn't cut, nor is it colored. But when I tell you, when I went out today, this hat matches my shoes and my sweatpants that I have on and my shirt.
come on now.
I'm presentable.
Presentable.
Stop
Mhm.
going out here and thinking that, oh, I can do what I'm. You're not about to tell me I can't. You look crazy. You look crazy. That narrative, I really wish that it would stop.
Mm.
I, I don't know. Tell your friends. I had a conversation with my girls. And I
Mhm.
was like, yo, like, seriously, let's talk about this bonnet situation. I needed to know where everybody stood because I needed to know the company that I keep. And
Mm.
everybody was like, no, we don't do that. I said, I
We
knew I
don't-
had good friends.
we had good friends.
I
That's right.
knew I had friends that know how to act accordingly and be presentable in all areas.
Be decent and in order. Mm.
Stop doing that.
It is.
Have some pride in yourself. We want to be respected as Black women. We
That's
want to
right.
be taken seriously as Black women. We want all of these things for Black women, but then you think that it's okay to walk out the house not looking presentable. Stop
Mm.
it.
That's
Stop
right.
it.
You know, my mother always said, and the same thing: no bonnets in the new norm in public. That's it.
Stop
That's
it.
it. You know, and Micah knows that how I go out. How did I get my first contract? I'm talking to a city council member, and we're talking about lettuce. All right,
In the grocery store.
in a grocery store. And he said, "Do you know who I am?" And he looked at me and says, "You're very well presentable, well dressed." Micah, I got the contract and went on to Plymouth Congregational Church and the school, Plymouth Daycare, teaching sign language, get the contract for God's Hands of Praise, got the NOF grant based on my appearance and conversation. But Councilman Nicholas, the late Councilman Nicholas Hood Sr., looked at the way I was dressed. I was not, I just started my business. I didn't have any money. But I said, you know what? Someone always told me, if you don't make any money on Tuesday, look good to make it on Wednesday. Always look your best. You know, always look like money to make money. You know, and all money is not good money, but look good because it will draw people to
People
you.
to you.
It will draw people to you. When I go to my office, Dr. Logan, where you going? I said, I'm coming to work for you. You know, I look good when I go to work. I look good when I get on that elevator. I look good when I walk into the Fisher building because I am a Black woman. I am a professional. I have been raised by Venmore Logan and Lacey Logan and Pauline Taylor and Ollie Green and Lucille Shade. I was raised to always 7 days a week, always. And you know your father, Arthur E. Nolan, anyone that knew my husband was well dressed 7 days a week, suit and tie. And on the golf course, he was what the sharpest, if not the sharpest man on the golf course. I remember we were in the airport one time and somebody walked up to daddy and said, "Who are you?" They just said, "Who are you?" Just like that, Micah. And he said, "My name is Arthur Nolan." He said, "You're a golfer." And he said, "Yes." And he said, "Man, you look good." You know how Daddy and I always travel. The
Mhm.
kids would be in sweatsuits, but Daddy and I would be like, we getting ready to walk into a meeting. The way because you never knew who you were gonna meet on that plane and in the airport. So let me say this. Everyone has, their
You can
choice.
do what you want, but stop it.
You want, but you need to stop wearing that bonnet, house slippers, and men, let me say something to you too, okay? You need to get in that gym and work on your six pack. You need to make sure that you're shaved and looking good. Pull up your pants, young men, pull them up, all right? You need to also comb your hair or get your braids retwisted or whatever you got to do to look appealing. Nobody wants to date you and go out with you. I wish one of my daughters would bring someone. I'm not even worried about it because Micah and Aaron will never be attracted to somebody who's not well kept. All right, let alone bringing them to meet me. So I'm not trying to be bougie or arrogant. I come with high expectations and standards that I've passed on to my children. And let me say this: God is preparing a place for us, mansions, and the angels have already prepared them. And he said, I go to prepare a place for you. You gonna tell me our mansions are gonna be filthy? Do you think so? This is preparation time for us to live in the kingdom. And God expects us to, cleanliness is next to godliness. And we need to take care of. And one thing my husband said when he met me, he said he had never, Micah, he said he had never met a woman so clean. It drove him crazy, but he said he never met a woman so clean. That impressed him. He really was impressed by the way I kept house and way I kept my townhouse. And then the Bible said, if you faithful over little, I'll make you rule over many. If you can't take care of that one bedroom, two bedroom apartment, why in the world you think God gonna give you a house if you can't keep it in order? And then you have a house and you want a bigger house, but you can't keep the one you have in order. So all of this is about the normality of our lives going into the new norm. Let's make some changes. Let's raise our expectation. Let's raise the bar on how we want to live and how we want to live to be well. I just don't want to live, Micah. I want to do it well so that when I'm in company with my daughters, they're proud of me and the way that I present myself, and you got over sharp. That's one thing I admired on your show on 3ABN. Oh, thank you, Simply. Yes, my husband and I, we love to be twins. Than me, Micah. I love being twins. But we first impression was lasting. Simply, you all didn't know Arthur and I up front. Even with my new show coming, the 3ABN, and 3ABN Dare to Dream. But we had to make sure that our first impression was lasting and how we presented ourselves. So we want to inward of love, how we carry ourselves spiritually, emotionally, mentally, but also we want to have a heart of humility, kindness, gentleness, and love. Because I can be clean all day and be just an evil person. Let's find the balance in our lives. ML6, take us on out. All right.
Oftentimes we ask people, we require things of people that we don't require of ourselves, and it's not fair. So if you're requiring someone to be X, Y, and Z, it's your responsibility to be X, Y, and Z. Be fair. Be good to yourself. Take care of yourselves. Again, mind, body, soul, inwardly and outwardly.
Mm-hmm.
Look presentable. Be presentable inwardly and be
Mm-hmm.
presentable outwardly. Okay? And like my mom said, we're not just living, we're living to be well in all aspects of our lives, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically. We're covering all bases. Do yourself that favor. Be good to yourself.
That's it. Be good to yourself. Be fair. Be honest. Be open. Let me say this to all of you listening right now. It's about your relationship with Jesus Christ. It's about your relationship with your family. And if you're single, your relationship with yourself, your mental well being. I want you to know that we're praying for you and that we're wishing you the best in everything you do. Before we close out, I want to have a word of prayer with you because I want you to realize we are living still in a pandemic. Father God, in the name of Jesus, we thank you. Thank you for ML6, my daughter Micha, L. Rogers, all those that are listening, those today, Rachel, Simply, all those on the air, Miss Vanessa, all those, LaSheila and her children, those who are right now in the valley of decision about soul salvation, about the pandemic, about the vaccination, about how to live, how to get through grief. But Lord God, how just to make it one more day. Father, give us wisdom. We need wisdom, we need strength, we need obedience. Now we thank you, Lord, and we praise you that we are here, still living to be well. Thank you, Lord, and we give you all the praise. In Jesus' name, amen. May
Amen.
God bless you all. Love you, ML6. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Love you too.
And may you be blessed. And remember, always live to be well. I'm Dr. Kim Logan-Nowlin.
And I'm Micha, ML6 Logan.
God bless and good night.
Bye.
Live to be well with Dr. Kim, with Dr. Kim. Live to be well. Live to be well with Dr. Kim.